Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Wolf and this is Starbound version 1.0. Today we're going to be going over liquids, how some of them interact with each other, and how to farm them. So first I'm going to go over basic liquid dynamics. Say I take some water and I put it into this side of a U-shaped pipe. If I add more beyond this, you'll notice that it starts to balance out with the other side. This is just basic fluid dynamics that Starbound has implemented into their engine. Now, an interesting thing about planets, or specifically ocean planets, is if you break the background on the planet, then water will start flowing in from the background. So if I were to break this wall right here, water will start flowing into this side. Now the reason it doesn't flow into this side is because the game thinks that this is the highest point of water, and the reason that it flows up here is because it keeps generating more water and pouring out that way. So it's kind of weird. If you break like the middle one, then you'll notice that it'll fill both sides up. If I fill that in, because it's flowing out and then it's flowing up. So it has a little strange interaction, but as long as you know that if you break a hole it'll start flooding out, then you can use that to your benefit. So now we're going to see how each one of these liquids reacts with water. So this is coconut milk. I don't know if it's actually still in the game or not, but I just spawned it in. And if you break the raw water, you see that they stay apart. This is Urchi's fuel. They stay separated. This is slime. Not to be confused with poison. They look very similar, but slime has kind of a bluish glow to it. They're separated. And this is healing water. Alright, you'll notice that the healing water took over all the new water that spawned into it. This is oil. Separated. This is swamp water. The swamp water takes over the normal water. This is lava. It creates a coat of obsidian on the lava, and then water builds up on top of that. And then we have poison. And the poison takes over the water. So using these mechanics, we can see that it's very easy to create infinite poison, swamp water, and healing water just by using an ocean world's background properties. But you can also farm other liquids as well. So first let's start off with the healing water one. It's just a basic setup. You can, whenever this liquid sensor detects that there's water, it passes it to a NOT gate and then passes that to 2 wooden fences. So if there's no water, then this will turn on, opening the fences until it fills back up to that point. So that's a very basic setup, very easy to use, and you can get infinite healing water that way. Now coconut milk is one that doesn't mix with water. So the way you can still add more is if it just barely drips into the coconut milk. Because if just a tiny, almost, if not invisible amount of water seeps in, it'll actually become whatever liquid's under it. So let me take out a good chunk of this. And you'll see that very slowly, but still it's happening, the milk is filling up because an invisible amount of water is leaking out of here and flowing into it and combining. And the way I have this set up is I have 2 sensors. This top one is hooked up to the on a persistent switch. Whenever the liquid reaches that point, it flips this persistent switch on, which then flips this NOT gauge off, which then closes these 2 gates. And this persistent switch also closes these 2 drains whenever the water reaches this point. Or no, it turns on the 2 drains because I don't want extra water flowing in. Now the reason why I use a persistent switch here is because I was noticing that whenever I was doing the fuel ones, that whenever it would get up to this point, it would still not be high enough. So it would dip down, so then it would open the doors back up, and then it would fill it up a little bit more, but then it would dip back down and then fill it up more, and it just never stopped doing that. So I created the system to where there's another water sensor down here hooked up to a NOT switch, and that NOT switch is hooked up to the off on the persistent switch. So if it goes below this point is whenever you'll start filling up again, and you can move that higher if you want. I just put it down there just because it looked nice to me. So that'll slowly fill up. You could have multiple of these tanks around so that you can fill it up more. And then of course poison swamp water, just follow the healing water. And then all these other ones that don't mix with water use the same drip system. Another thing, pay attention that there is a drain that's always active right here on this setup. And what this does is whenever the water flows out and down, you'll see that the water tries to build up past these drains, but the drains stop it. And you need to stop it, because if it does fill up past the drains, then too much water will start leaking through. And if too much water leaks through, it'll create a layer of water that doesn't merge with whatever liquid you're trying to fill. And if that happens, then you'll just end up with the room of half water, half whatever else you have in there. And also, this prevents the lava from turning into obsidian, because just the tiniest amount is all that's needed to start filling it back up. Now, there is lava ocean planets that you can just get your lava from, but if you wanted to centralize it on an ocean planet, you can get all of your liquids here. And to just get water, all you have to do is just take some from the background. So it's a simple enough system. I try to make it look nice as well as be functional. Here's oil, slime, and they do take a long time to fill up. So they won't work if you're not here, unfortunately. So you're going to want to put them somewhere that you're going to be around quite a bit if you want them to actually fill up. You might be able to fit something like this on a glitch ship, because they have a really big middle section that's just empty. On any other ship, I think it'd be kind of hard to fill in something like this. But there are other ways of converting into fuels. If you manually place the water, then you can create a smaller setup that will convert it into fuel. I'm not going to go over that. There's I think someone on Reddit showed that you could do it on your ship within a relatively small amount of space. I just wanted to explain the basics behind it. And the basics are that for liquids that don't mix with water, you just want to barely drip it into it, and then it'll start mixing. And then for the other ones, you just straight up mix it, no problem. But anyway, that'll do it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.